Dehancer Pro is the OFX plugin suite for film style color grading and film effects. It's not like a LUT. You don't just throw in the preset, raise or lower the intensity and call it a day. There's a little bit more work involved with this. There's a lot of options with it. It has its pros, it has its cons. Just for transparency, they're not paying me. Dehancer Pro did reach out to me for a review in exchange for a membership of this. I hesitated to do it because I like to keep my reviews honest. One of the reasons I'm doing this is they want honest feedback. They want to know what's not working. They want to know from users what they need to change. And I like that in a company. There's a lot that I like about this, and there's a few things that I'm not really a fan of. I'll discuss all that with you. So what you're getting with the Dehancer Pro package, you're getting several things that are sold separately, but the package makes sense to have it all in one. The film grain, the halation, the bloom, film damage, film breath. What I like about this is you're not getting the same look that you get from LUTs, whether they're free LUTs, LUTs that you buy. All the looks that are on here are very unique and very specific. A lot of work went into emulating specific type of film developing looks. So let's walk through the process of how we do this. The first thing we want to make sure is that our image is color balanced. So what I'm going to do is add a node. I'm going to do Option S. I'm going to drag the Dehancer Pro plugin onto my second node. Another shortcut you can do in DaVinci Resolve is if you hit Shift F, you get this beautiful full screen image here. My input source is set to Rec 709, which is what I don't want in this case. What I could do is if I go to DaVinci Intermediate, it takes a little bit of the green away, but what I really like to do is go to Choose Camera. My vendor, I'm going to select Blackmagic Design, and look at that. We've already got a nice, saturated, contrasty look. So under the input, I have different controls: exposure and temperature, compensation, tint, defringe. The next thing I want to go into is film. It's the second drop down on this. And this is where we're going to pick our film stock. Basically, you can play around with all of these different looks, all of these different film stocks. What I'd really like to see Dehancer do for DaVinci Resolve is under the film tab where you select the different film stocks, it would be nice to have that set up with a display like your LUTs are set up. So if I come over here, I can just hover over one of these LUTs and get an idea of what the picture is going to look like. I think that would just save a lot of time. There's something about this that's a pro and a con, and that is all of the fine-tuned controls that you have under every aspect of the film stock, emulation, develop, expand, color head. There's a lot there. I'm going to enable bloom, and I want you to look at these two pens on the desk and the lit side of their face. So let's do bloom. So if you see what bloom is doing to the light, I'm going to turn it on and off. It's off, now it's on, now it's off, now it's on. So it's really a little bit of diffusion around the light. Kind of makes a nice dreamlike look for your film. Halation has a little bit more of like a red look to it. So that's 8mm. That's it's a bit much depending on what look you're going for. So once again, with all these settings, it's 8mm, 16, 35, and 65. So film damage is something where you can add scrapes and tears. Yeah, so you can see those little specks of dust and grain that are showing up in this image here. Film breath kind of adds a little bit of a flicker look to it. This is at the 65, so you get a little bit of a grain in there. The extreme would be the 8mm. So now that you've seen what Dehancer can do and what the options in the menu are, let's walk through from start to finish grading a clip with Dehancer Pro. Here's an indoor shot we can use. Yes, this is a split field diopter. I already have the color balance set to where I want it to be. I'm gonna come down here to Dehancer Pro, throw that on. We're gonna watch everything turn green. Ready? Oh, it's green, green and green. First thing I wanna do is to turn off the film grain, because I don't like that. Next, what I want to do is come up here and do choose camera. And I'm going to select Blackmagic. And I'm going to deselect so that it's just that. Once again, this is where it would be really nice to have a hover over color view of everything. So I added a node after Dehancer, to bring back some warmth in their skin tones. So let's start from the beginning here. This is out of camera. This is with my corrections. This is with film halation. And then this is the third node for the skin tones. So it's much, much nicer look there. So here's another clip. Here it is with Dehancer. I use the Kodak Color Plus 200 look on there. There's a lot of green trees behind them, so the green is natural. And once again, I can go in, add a node afterwards, and make any adjustments from there. How does this work with a shot where maybe you have a specific cast over the film or over the look? That cast could be because the white balance was off. So here's a good film stock. This ADOX Color Implosion 100 really helped to separate her skin tone. That one's really nice, that Fuji Chrome. And that's another thing. If you don't want the film stock on, you can turn that off. My final thoughts on this. Personally, I love it. I'll use it. It has some great looks. It has some unique looks. I already mentioned in the video, having the hover over option for the different film stocks would be helpful to have. Being able to personalize when you open it that the grain isn't on. It could also work that maybe you always want the bloom on, so you set that. When it comes to the cost, it's a personal choice. And that seems to be the make or break point for people. If you're an independent filmmaker, if you're a content creator, if you're not really monetizing a lot from your work or you don't have clients, it's probably expensive, and I get it. But if you're a professional colorist, editor, if you have a business, if you have paying clients, I feel like one job would be enough to cover the cost of a lifetime membership with this. And that, in that case, it's worth it. I love all the fine tuning. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, but you're crafting a look. You don't want to just slap something on there and have the look be painted on. It's nice to have those controls and to be able to save that, to export that setting for your own use. The other thing is a lot of these functions you can do in Resolve. The bloom, the halation, the different film looks. It's just going to take even more time to get that. If film grain is what you're looking for, then I would get this. There's built-in grain in Resolve, and as much as I love what Resolve does, it's not as good as what Dehancer gives you. And that's my opinion. Same thing with the bloom and the halation. I feel like Dehancer has a little bit of an edge over Resolve in that aspect. Once again, my opinion, you might like Resolve's better, so don't get Dehancer. But if you do decide to get it, use code SPADEYYZ. Yes, I'm a Rush fan. That will give you 10% off your purchase. And if you do that, thank you. That means a lot. If you've made it this far, thank you. That also means a lot. By the way, this is made for Final Cut, Premiere, Lightroom, and Photoshop. And if you use Lightroom, we can take a look at a video on how that works in Lightroom. Thanks, everyone.